Hey there, Ramble Force. Chris Gamble here from the Digital Ramble for episode 79. I'm joined as always by JJ in Texas. How you doing, JJ?
Gambler, I am doing fantastic. The weather's absolutely gorgeous over here, but I am even more excited because today we got another guest. We got actually two guests on today.
We do. We've got two very special people joining us from Lutron.
Woo!
Always one to leave a clue. So
yeah,
we're
man.
going to be talking to Steve and Neil from Lutron.
The shows have been so powerful, so packed full of information. I can't wait to talk to these two fellas.
Yeah, so firstly, a big hello and thank you to our new YouTube subscribers. Off the back of the Sonos video, the Josh video, and Logitech, we've really increased our YouTube audience. So hello to all our YouTube fans.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Our YouTube subscriptions have just gone through the roof. It's amazing. Thank y'all so much. And friends, if y'all want to check out all of our previous episodes, there's a couple of different ways that you could go about doing it. Go and take a look at our website at digitalrambleshow.com. On there, you can easily access our Facebook, our YouTube, or all of our podcasts that we've done. If you want to direct dial it, take a look at our YouTube channel, or also take a look at our Facebook channel. And man, the one that we are most proud of is all of our podcasts. We are on 11 different podcast streaming channels.
Yeah, and remember, you can call into the show using the Anchor app. That's how we distribute the podcast. You can call into the show if you've got a question, you've got some feedback. We're ready to listen to your views on smart home. And if you're brave enough, you can even join us on the show.
Gamble, like always, I want to say thank you to our Patreons who monthly pitch in for as little as $1 a month to help support this show. So if you'd like to also join other Patreons, take a look at our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Digital Ramble.
JJ, we're on a run of interviews. We're back to back with, I just mentioned Sonos, Logitech, Josh, and we got Lutron today. We've got more coming up though. We got a lot of interviews lined up, a lot of bookings. We're not going to give too much away because, it's a surprise for our audience, and we're delighted to have lined up probably another 5 or 6 interviews coming up. So stay tuned for interviews that are what you would expect, nulls and all that kind of stuff, but also a few curveballs coming up. Starting from next week, you'll see another surprise type of guest, surprise type of interview for the show.
Yeah, man. And talk about surprises. Sometimes I'm even surprised by the people who want to come on the Digital Ramble. So friends, stay tuned. Digital Ramblers, stay tuned. And most of all, like, subscribe, hit that bell. So anytime we put something out, you're made alert of new content that we've dropped. Gamble, you ready to get into this?
Push that button, JJ.
Digital Ramblers, welcome to the show. And here are our fantastic guests, Neil and Steve from Lutron. Fellas, welcome to the Digital Ramble Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. Welcome. And guys, if you would, please introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know what capacity you feel over there at the Lutron headquarters.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start. My name is Neil Orchowski. I've been with Lutron, over 16 years now, so seasoned veteran. Done a lot of different things. Currently, I'm the senior product manager for what we call our high-end residential business, and we'll kind of get into what that means. But I also wear another hat, which is looking after what we call our strategic alliances, like all the fun smart home brands that we work with, as well as you guys install. So lots going on.
All right, and I'm Steve Detmer, also a longtime Lutron veteran. So I've been there about 18 years now. Started out doing some engineering work, actually designing circuits that went into the products. About 10 years in, took a bit of a turn and got more on the business side. So now I do product management, but I've actually relocated to London to help launch some new product here in the UK. Really growing on some of the work that Neil does in North America and bringing that to new customers and new places.
Yeah, and so we've got a real split now, UK and US here. So whatever way you're watching the video, we've got the UK on one side and the US on the other. So, and we're going to talk about products that are relative to both regions. because, you know, I'm installing Lutron for my business in the UK, and JJ likewise doing it for his customers in Texas. And before the show, JJ and I were talking how unusual it is to have people on from a tech company that's around 60 years old. You know, we've had interviews in the past with companies that are a couple of years old, maybe 10, 15 years old at most. But you guys you're part of a business that has such a long history and heritage in lighting control. Tell us a little bit about the background to Lutron and where the origins came from.
Well, it's certainly a long story with a lot of history, so we'll give you the highlights. You know, Lutron basically founded light dimming like we know it today. Our founder, Joel Spira, physicist, playing around with semiconductors back in the late 50s, he came up with this idea of, you know, a light dimmer that would replace, you know, the old, like, very power hungry rheostat that you'd have in theaters. And, you know, he brought to market in 1961, you know, the world's, you know, first light dimmer that you could put inside a home that actually made sense, right? So, you know, he was very focused on delivering that, you know, better experience within the home when it comes to lighting control. And, you know, some of the initial ads were a hoot, you know, showing how it was being positioned, but, you know, it's what everybody's familiar with, right? You know, dimming the lights in the dining rooms, like the classic scenario that everybody can relate to. But since then, you know, that's grown into a global business that touches all parts of the home, not just, you know, the home, but also, you know, commercial projects as well, because lighting control, we think, is such a critical part to that. Steve, anything you want to add?
Sure. I mean, a few of the milestones along the way, right? So in the early 60s, it was just that rotary dimmer, and that's where the company took off from. And then, you know, 70s, you start getting into a little bit of systems. 80s, you really start seeing the systems grow up. And then through the 90s, it just explodes and becomes a much bigger part of the business. That's where you start to see the roots of Homeworks and the predecessor to Quantum, which is our commercial solution for the high end. And then it starts to spread out, right? And you start to see different veins of that with a wireless solution, which was the first wireless lighting control system in the marketplace. And that's in 97. So you're predating Wi-Fi in the home with a wireless solution that tied all of your lights together into for its time, a very, very smart system. Today, we would look back and, you know, punch a bunch of holes in that solution for a couple of generations later on. And that's the North American product line. If you look into the rest of the world, I think the office was founded in London in 86. So we've been here for many, many years. Launched Homeworks right around 97, I believe. And that's really what we're most known for now in the UK, is that Homeworks business. But the new stuff that we're bringing, the stuff that Neil's working on very hard in North America, which is the RA2 platform and RA2 Select, is our new push into the UK. And that's why I'm here. So it's the one I'll spend most of my time talking about if you don't stop me.
Well, the lighting solutions that Lutron has been providing for many years has been fantastic. I mean, it just works. There's just no question about it. You put in a dimmer or a light switch, main repeater, and it just works. You don't have to, it's one of those set it and forget it. Something that Lutron has expanded upon was their window treatments. And that's a big part of Lutron's portfolio today. Can y'all expand upon that as well and give our viewers a little understanding? I mean, I have so many different options to choose from, and actually y'all just released, I think, a new window treatment solution as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so Lutron, you know, what our core value is, you know, number one principle, taking care of the customer, right? So I think, like you said, JJ, that, you know, it just works is what we hear, and that's what we strive for. And if you look across the history of our products, you know, there's a lot of time and effort taking care of the customer with those, you know, products that just, you know, continue to delight and continue to work and provide that experience you want. And when it comes to light control, you know, you can only go so far with control of electric light. So naturally there was a fit for some sort of control of natural light instead of electric light, and shades became, you know, an easy fit into what Lutron does. You know, you could lead with shades and provide, that, experience on the windows from an aesthetic perspective, or, privacy or glare, or you lead with lighting control and adjust, the electric light in the space. So then you combine them together. Either way, we try to provide an experience for homeowners that is really going to fit what they're looking for in their space, really add to the experience, make it nicer, make you enjoy, your home or your commercial office space, better than without it. And so, our shading controls have been probably since the early 90s when we introduced the first motorized shading control, and leading the way with how we deliver that solution to the market. And since then, obviously, it's grown a lot. It's now a global business. We've went as far as finding ways to make it as retrofittable as possible with battery power and shades that last 3 to 5 years on a single set of batteries. It's pretty amazing, how that's evolved, and we're still just barely touching the surface of what's possible there.
Yeah, it's certainly become both sides, lighting and shades, become such cornerstones for my business. And I'm actually quite a new customer to the Lutron products. People who follow me on social media know I'm so passionate about the products, but I've only been using it for a couple of years now. And that engagement with Lutron came when a new product arrived. So we're going to focus in on a product that our customers may have seen from JJ and I's social media, and that's Lutron RA2 Select. New product to the UK. I know it followed several months after its launch in the US, but tell us why this product is so important to Lutron, and maybe reference to why, maybe that's why I've become engaged with it. Would I have become engaged without it? So why is it such an important product for Lutron?
Great question. I think it was really well timed. I think the introduction of RA2 Select, and it, definitely has its place in terms of where it's positioned around products that we had, and where we see the market going and what homeowners are really asking for. So if you look at the layout of the different offerings that Lutron has for called smart home lighting control, as a do-it-yourselfer, you can go and pick up our Caseta wireless line here in North America, and think of that as the essential smart home lighting control solution that you want for your home. Dimmers, switches, works with shades, set it up easily from an app, scale to now 75 devices within the home. It's a really powerful system. It's really simple and easy and affordable to get into your home, and takes lighting control to the next level with a lot of modern technology that we built into it. But if you look at the next level above that, it was the late 90s when we introduced Radio RA, which is our professional version of smart home lighting control. And in the late 2000s, Radio RA 2 came around, and that's a more of a customizable whole home lighting control solution that can scale up into 5, 6, 7,000 square foot homes easily. Buttons that are programmed specifically for whatever the homeowner wants, with whatever we call scene experience, which can blend lights and shades and audio and other things together, and custom engraved buttons. And there was kind of like a big spread between what you could deliver with the Radio RA 2 offering and our starting point with Caseta, that made it difficult for a homeowner to be able to manage that throughout the life of their home and being able to change things. It made it more complex from an install and setup perspective for the installer. And so RA2 Select really became this product in the middle of that, which we took really the best of both worlds. The simplicity of app-based setup, makes it easy for professional installers like yourselves to set it up. But it also allows the homeowner to be able to live with it and improve it and personalize it to whatever they want to see within their home, without having necessarily pick up a phone and call someone to go do it for them. So it really creates a more simple, scalable solution within, a next level up lighting control solution that becomes more attainable to more homeowners, easier to install for more installers. And it really has set a platform now that, we've been able to now grow, throughout the world, which is where, Steve has really been driving that forward over the past year or two.
Well, let me make a few comments on how that lineup looks in the UK and Europe. So North America, there are several solutions, right? It kind of goes from wall box solutions that you find in big box stores, and that's some of the real DIY type products, into Caseta, then RA2 Select, and on up the line. In the UK, it's a little bit more streamlined. We don't really have wall box products, and when we say wall box, we mean, you know, say a rotary dimmer or even a slightly smarter individual dimmer on the wall. Our starting point here really is RA2 Select. So that's a big new channel, a new market, a whole new segment that we can reach with that product, mostly because it is so simple, right? It doesn't take a lot of time to design it. It takes a limited amount of time to install. It's mostly retrofit. And I say mostly because there's going to be a few cases where you can't fit the inline dimmer into a ceiling void and you have to pull a little bit of cabling. There you go. That's my favorite product. So we spent years. So I think Neil and I both told you how long we've been at Lutron. I won't repeat it because it makes me feel old. But years and years we spent talking about a wireless retrofit solution for the UK. And there's a lot of challenges with that. The wiring topology, kind of the standard practices make it very difficult. And the UK and Europe in general has been on the LED train much longer than North America. And LEDs are difficult to dim. It took new technology from Lutron. It took putting the dimmer in line in the ceiling void. And this is going to sound very strange to everybody in the US and Canada. We don't put the dimmer in the wall box. The dimmer goes in the ceiling next to the fixture, which, you know, you'd never find in North America. But that technology plus Pico, plus cloud services, plus a new platform for the hub or the main repeater, all of those things came together and created the possibility of RA2 Select for the UK. And yeah, that's where we are today. So Chris, I think your time with Lutron lines up almost exactly with RA2 Select, which is, you know, quite fortuitous. And yeah, I'm happy to be here pushing that product. I think we have a long ways to go in educating the electrical contractors, the smart home integrators on this new product, and accessing a whole new customer base that always felt Homeworks and Lutron were a little bit out of reach.
Yeah, I will say that having RA2 Select now available to us, it's made conversations with clients about lighting normal. It's a normal conversation in the grand scheme of their refurbishment or their new construction project. It's made lighting just part of the dialogue. It's not an awkward, but it's going to cost you so much money. So you're kind of on edge. Do you want to talk to them about it or not? This just made it just a fluent part of the conversation because it wasn't a budget breaker. It was a critical part of the project that, you know, deep down they wanted it. Now you were able to offer them this easy route into smart control of lighting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that, you know, I always remind myself that, you know, people aren't always picking up the phone and calling you guys saying, hey, I want smart lighting control today, right? There's something else that's driving them to say, I want to do something to my home. I want to make my home nicer. And, you know, we see a lot of that, you know, even starting from the outside of the home in, right? Where, you know, peace of mind is a big thing that we think about, where, you know, you come home at night or your family comes home at night and, well, when you roll up to the driveway or walk up to the front door, what do you want? You want the lights to be on, right? And so, you know, we focus on trying to deliver that experience that, you know, adds value to why you want lighting control in your home. And it, you know, starting just with the outside is often where we see a lot of, you know, RA2 Select business starting, because you don't have to go into the whole home right away. You don't have to spend, you know, your savings on, you know, a lighting control package for the whole home. You can start at one spot, figure out how you like it, figure out where you want to move it to else, you know, other places in your home. And it, like you said, Chris, I think it creates a lot more flexible path for people to get lighting control into their home that works for them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how we pitch it here at Digital Delight whenever we're talking about lighting control is safety and considerations. Don't want to ever drive up to a dark home, or always want to make sure that the lights are on at sunset and always turn off at sunrise. Simplicity, and start from the outside and work your way in. Love that idea, and definitely that's the approach that we're using whenever we're talking to our clients about lighting control. And then we work our way inside and start talking about illuminating like the dining room or the family room or the kitchen, and getting the lighting elements appropriate, dimming elements appropriate for whatever the scene might be called for, whether it's entertaining or cooking or reading. And just having that controllable light is just does amazing things for a home. And honestly, homeowners and businesses don't realize the impact of that lighting control until they live with it. And once they do, they don't ever want to not live with it. It's I remember moving a couple of times, and my wife, almost the first thing it was music and lighting. Like, when are we going to get the lighting control in? So particularly now that you can integrate with Lutron, integrate the voice control and actually call up a lighting scene or make an announcement at your home, and however it's programmed is, light up a path of light or light up a certain area. And my wife does not ever want to live without, those type of simplicities. And, they kind of sound like an overreach, but not until you live with it do you really have that aha, like, I get it, and an understanding. One thing about Lutron, whenever we talk about wireless, a lot of people automatically think Wi-Fi, like this system is based on the Wi-Fi, and that's not the case. I believe that Lutron has a patent on their own frequency, which makes it so reliable over all the other devices that are wireless pretty much on the industry. Could you give us a little bit more understanding about the importance of y'all having your own frequency?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I mentioned that, our Radio Raw offering was, introduced in the late 90s. And really that was the introduction of wireless lighting control, not really just for Lutron, but where some of those core fundamental patents came around, where our founder, Joel Spira, he wanted to provide a retrofittable, lighting control solution that, didn't require you to rewire your entire home. You could, put it in quickly and easily from a retrofit perspective, but it had to be ultra reliable. So every time you push that button, the lights had to turn on. And back then in the 90s, Wi-Fi wasn't a thing, right? All the other wireless technologies that we hear about, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Z-Wave, none of that was around, and it was just kind of a figment of our imagination. And so we set out to find what's the best, most reliable solution for wireless lighting control that we could provide. And so we ended up with what we call Lutron's Clear Connect technology. Here in North America, that is in a protected 434 megahertz band where you're not able to communicate often, which means that the airways are free for those wireless lighting control messages to get through. So it always works when you need it to. And we've just been improving that over the past 20 plus years to make it as best as it can be. So, because when it comes to controlling lights in your home, you don't want to have to think about what wireless protocol is it, what kind of technology is it. It just has to work right when you need it to work. And so we've always stuck true to those values of things just working, and we've scaled that idea globally as well. And so Steve, I know in the UK, our wireless is still Clear Connect, but why don't you tell us about how it's a little bit different?
Sure. So as you move into the UK, the frequency, right? So the allocation of frequency is really set by the governments of the different countries. So in the US, 434 megahertz just happens to be this highly restrictive band, right? So at 434, as Neil was saying, you can't talk for very long. You have limited power that you can transmit at. And that makes it a really ideal frequency for what we're doing in the home. When we moved to the UK, we had to basically start over, right? So 434 is not the same band in the UK. They have some different rules. So as we surveyed the entire frequency spectrum, we found that 868 was actually the best for what we were doing. And that continues as we go around the globe. So as we go to India, to different frequencies, we go to China, to different frequency. But because we did all this work up front and we learned what we needed from the frequency band we were going to use, and we built the structure of the packets and everything about our protocol for this ultra reliable wireless performance. We were able to duplicate that in every region that we went to. So Clear Connect has been a real benefit of Lutron wireless. You will hear this when you talk to people that have worked with Lutron wireless and other wireless. You know, JJ, I think you said it early on, it just works, right? There's a lot of engineering work that Lutron puts in. There's a lot of testing, a lot of quality checks. An enormous amount of effort goes into just making it work. But that's what we do. That's what makes Lutron special. That's what we count on. It's what our customers count on. And
just to clarify then, so this is wired to mains power. So this is your dimmer that Steve talked about going in the ceiling void. This is what replaces your light switch. It's probably not very clear, but this is a Pico. And we always talk about the power of the Pico. This is a battery powered device that talks to the dimmer, also talks to a hub that's connected to your broadband router. But it's the Clear Connect, is the communication between these two devices. What's the battery life on this device? People are always scared about a battery powered light switch, but tell them how long this lasts for.
10 years. So it lasts a long time. And that's, you know, the life of the battery, whether it's, you know, 10 years in a Pico or our battery powered window shades or blinds, you know, those are 2 to 5 year battery life. You know, a lot of that comes from that wireless technology that we've developed being, you know, very low power. It only communicates when it needs to. And, you know, that allows us to get those 10-year type battery lives that we achieve, because, you know, like you said, you don't want to have to worry about, you know, are my batteries going to run out and I can no longer control my lights, or I can no longer control my shades. But important part of that quality and reliability that Lutron offers.
And what's the distance you can have between two Clear Connect devices?
Another good question. Go ahead, Steve.
Sure. So the spec in the UK is going to be 9 meters from any wireless device to the main repeater or the hub, or from device to device. So one of the things we don't really talk about a lot is the standalone functionality of those RA2 Select products. So that inline dimmer, Chris, if you don't mind holding that up.
Yeah, sure.
The inline dimmer and the Pico, you don't need the hub to make those work. You could assign those two directly to each other and have really just a remote controlled dimmer. So it's a very simple system in the fact that they talk directly to each other. The hub comes in and adds a lot more features, right? So your scheduled events, all of your access to integration, your Alexa, Google, Siri, all that fun stuff comes in through the hub. The hub acts as a bit of a quarterback for the system. It makes sure that if a device doesn't respond, it repeats the message. That's why we call it a repeater. It sounds a little bit funny compared to everybody else's system where they just call it a hub. But if you go far enough back, it was a repeater, and that was the point of it. But yeah, it's a really robust system, and that's what we bank on. It's what we count on. It's what we designed in, and I hope that's what customers see and what they believe when they hear the name Lutron.
What with Neil, you talked about a 75 device limit on Caseta in the US. What limits are we looking at with RA2 Select then?
RA2 Select is 100 devices. What you get with RA2 Select is also 4 additional wireless repeaters. So basically wireless range within a home is not something that you have to worry about. In a Caseta system, even though it's 75 devices, you're still limited to just a single repeater. So smaller homes, but, you know, adequately sized for what you're doing with Caseta. Now, when you go above RA2 Select into our full Iridia RA2 offering, now that goes up to 200 devices, so you can scale even bigger, and twice the number of repeaters, so twice the size of the home as well.
You know, one of the cool things and one of the most embracing things for myself is that not only does Lutron control the lights, but Lutron is also controlling like the shades, so all in one system. But Lutron can control other devices as well, and vice versa. Y'all have made yourself very open to where third-party control systems can control the Lutron system and really integrate the entire home to work as a, you know, fully functioning system. Could y'all delve a little bit more deeper into that?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a world of mine for the past, 10 years of trying to work with others to provide that, better experience. I keep saying the word experience, but that's what it comes back to, because, you want to be able to, come home and the lights automatically turn on, maybe the shades open, but, JJ, you talked about that kitchen scene where maybe you press a dining scene button in your kitchen or in your dining room, and now the lights can dim, the shades can come down, music can come on from your Sonos system. Creating that ambiance and that nicer experience is the reason why we work with others. And we try to make it such that whether it's Lutron integrating something into our system, such as say Sonos, which works with Lutron, we have various temperature control solutions as well, so you can control lights, shades, temperature, and audio all from a Lutron experience. When we then allow others to develop integration with Lutron into their systems, we want it to feel just like Lutron made it as well. So there's a very close relationship there with each of these alliances that we work with to curate that experience, make sure it works just as well as Lutron would want it to work. So it's kind of a fun role to be in, at least for me right now, where there's so much happening in that space, so many things that it can work with. Voice control has just kind of shot off the charts, and there's so many different things you can do with it, which is great for homeowners because you can really tailor your home to whatever you want it to do. It's great for Lutron because we find other ways to make not just lighting control but the home even better. And we love providing more opportunities for you guys to get out there and help homeowners realize these solutions that are really now attainable.
Steve, I've got a couple of scenarios that hopefully you can explain. So,
all right,
is the EntryExit home away keypad or the Pico that's normally at the front door or the rear door of your property. So you would use this when you enter and exit the building.
Yeah.
There's two buttons. The top one is maybe I've got the wrong one, but this is you would press the top button and it will trigger several devices, several other smart home products from one press, and the same when you press the bottom button when you leave the house. Just maybe throw up a scenario of what might happen when you press just that one button.
So a couple of things. When you arrive home, you're going to want to turn some lights on, right? You walk through the front door, you need some light going into your home. One button press, and you get to pick it, right? You decide what it is. You decide if it's just the entryway, if it's the entryway plus the living room. Maybe you want the kitchen on because that's your first stop and that's where you throw your keys when you walk in the door. Whatever it is, right, you set up that one entry scene that fits your lifestyle. Now, I'll warn you, don't put the bedrooms on there. It will be a problem at some point. It may work out 9 times out of 10, but that 10th time, somebody's going to be upset. Either way, that's your entry, right? It's a little bit of convenience, but that's not the most convenient part of it. The most convenient part of that control, that entry and exit, is when you leave the home, no matter what you left on behind you, right? Take your morning routine. You're in the bathroom, you've showered, you're in the kitchen, you've had some breakfast, maybe you stop in the living room. Leave everything on. Leave the Sonos playing, leave the lights on, leave the blinds open. Doesn't matter, because when you hit that away button on your way out the door, you can pause all the Sonos, you can turn off all the lights, you can close all the blinds, and as you're walking away, whether you're taking a train, cycling, driving a car to work, doesn't matter. That peace of mind that Neil referred to, that's what you get because you know your home is already shut down. You didn't leave the lights on. You didn't leave the blinds open. You know it's exactly how you want it to be when you wanted to leave.
You know, guys, Neil and Steve, this just sounds too good to be true, right? I mean, it's like, no way, but absolutely way. The cool thing, and something else that Gamble and we talk about on the Digital Ramble on a pretty regular basis, is we like products that when the home technology professional is finished, it does not lock the homeowner out, in the sense that Lutron has made an incredible app. I mean, the app is fantastic. And, you know, you ask a client, how do they live? And, whenever you hit that away button, what do you want it to do? And a lot of times they don't comprehend what is the experience that they're getting ready to have in the house. And so you go through there and you put some generalities in, and this light's going to turn off and this one's going to turn on to this amount of percentage, or maybe you have a bathroom button on a Pico that sets on the side of your bed stand. So in the middle of the night, if you got to go to the bathroom, you tap it and all the lights illuminate a pathway at about 20%, so you don't wake up mama, and mama's not yelling at daddy about, hey, you just turned on all the lights. You don't want that to happen. But through the app, the homeowner themselves can go through there and customize that app without having to have a home technology professional come roll a truck out, maybe have to charge them, to make some adjustments. They can actually do it themselves. And, or, with authorization, the home technology professional can log into that account with a phone call and make those adjustments for the client as well through the app. I mean, just well thought out, well designed solution that Lutron's put together. Love it.
Thank you. I mean, I think you described it spot on. And, really our design philosophy there was make it so simple that homeowners can do it, right? Like do it on their own without needing to call up, a home technology professional, and still leaving that opportunity to call someone if you need help, and then making it as easy as we can for you guys to service, those homeowners remotely. We try to be, the lighting control solution for whatever the homeowner wants. If they want to do it on their own, have at it. If they want someone to do it for them, we have lots of great options for that as well. And even doing it without rolling a truck to the house, because that costs money, and don't want to necessarily have to call someone to change what a button does when you turn on the light. So I think that's the benefit of like the world we're living in these days, where there's so much you can do with technology to really make life easier on everyone involved, and just keep it simple, right?
We've done 2 or 3 specific episodes on Lutron lighting controls and their window treatments. So I encourage our audience to go back through the archives on digitalrambleshow.com, find the Lutron special episodes. I think in one case, there's nearly an hour-long show just about RA2 Select and our experiences of installing it in homeowners' homes, second homes, multiple homes, doing it in all different scenarios. And it's such a powerful product. Now, an asset that I didn't expect to have when I started engaging with Lutron and became an installer of the products was their experience centers. It was a complete surprise that this facility was available to me in London to visit with my business, visit with customers, send customers, and they would be escorted by Lutron staff. And it really has enhanced the sales process for us to sell window treatments and lighting controls. Steve, tell us about the Lutron Experience Center in London, and then Neil, fill us in with some of the other locations where they are.
Sure. Yeah, the Lutron Experience Center in London has been the greatest sales tool and branding, marketing, you name it. As far as recognition of Lutron, this Experience Center has done more for us than all of our efforts previously. And it's only been there a little over 3 years now. So it's a pretty new space, but it works for everybody. One, we've got fantastic staff over there that know Lutron. They know the company, they know the products inside and out, and they can help customers of every level. They can help new people to smart home, whether that's professionals that are just learning lighting control and smart home technology. They can help homeowners, specifiers, lighting designers, developers, you name it. They can tailor a presentation to them on why Lutron is right for their projects and their systems. And it is the experience. So Neil's come back to this multiple times. It's about the experience. I could tell you about lights dimming. I could tell you about blinds closing and opening. I could tell you about starting the Sonos from a Pico button press. And you might be able to picture it in your head and you go, great, that's really neat. And you'll move on immediately after. But if you walk into somebody's home or one of these experience centers and just see it happen in real life, it changes your perspective immediately. It becomes just more concrete. And you start to think that would be nice. I would like to live with that. And you never want to give it up. Once you've lived with good lighting control and good audio control, you can't go backwards. You can't. You'll always put it in your new house. You'll always bring it with you if you can. It's just the way of any good experience like that, you're going to bring it along.
Yeah, and in the U.S., we've found the same thing that Steve's described. We have centers now in at our headquarters, which is in a small town called Coopersburg, Pennsylvania, about 90 minutes west of New York City. But starting there, we have an experience center. Then in downtown Manhattan in New York City, we have a center. Plantation, Florida, which is in between like Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Irvine, California, outside of LA. And just recently, with the introduction of our Ketra team, we acquired a company called Ketra. He's probably getting close to 2 years ago now. They're in Austin, Texas, and we just opened a new experience center down there. So lots of options for folks to get to see Lutron, and it's so experiential that I wish we could find ways to put this everywhere. And that's a lot of what we think about, is how do we make it easy to experience Lutron wherever you are. And like Steve said, it's not easy, but that's what we're trying to do, because we know that once you live with it, you love it, right? And
these experience centers sound amazing. Can anybody just show up, or is it by appointment only? Do y'all have a designer that meets, a Lutron designer that meets with somebody that schedules an appointment? And then if they need a technology professional, does Lutron have a list of professionals to choose from? How does that work?
So it is by appointment. You can reach out to the nearest experience center. Here in London, we have an email address or a phone number that you can call to talk to the folks there. They'll schedule you in. You give them a heads up on what you want to see, right? If RA2 Select is the right solution for you, they can tailor the tour to RA2 Select. Here in London, we show both Homeworks, RA2 Select, every shading solution you can think of, as well as all of our commercial solutions from Quantum and Vive. It's really one-stop shop here in London. It's a little bit different in North America, where there's residential showrooms and commercial showrooms, but all of them are open to various customers, be it homeowners or the professionals that support those homeowners. And you can schedule an appointment usually the same week, right? It's not too cumbersome.
And Neil, we've got matching shirts almost. Tell me about this Lutron Pro scheme.
So, I think JJ, you mentioned it just now about like a homeowner wanting to find an installer to deliver a Lutron system. That's really what Lutron Pro is all about. We have a variety of different products that Lutron offers, and many of them geared towards install by a professional, and then management by the homeowner. And so Lutron Pro is a way that we can connect with qualified installers like yourselves to provide the tools you need to be successful. Understand who you are, so we can then let homeowners know that you're out there, and look up by zip code. There's we call our Find a Pro tool, where you can just type in your zip code and you'll see who's there available in your local area to find a pro. And that when you go with a home professional to install it, you want to know what your options are. And so we've kind of had programs over the past 20 years for training installers to be what we call qualified, and we want to make it as easy as possible for a homeowner to find one. And there are certain benefits that you'll get by going with, say, a Lutron Pro, like an extended warranty, right? Not just that, but knowing that you're working with someone that Lutron has worked with, and they are qualified to do the job that is required to set up a Lutron system.
Yeah, and it's not anybody that just wants to sign up for Lutron. I mean, it's like Lutron University. You have to be certified to become a Lutron Pro, particularly with shades and in lighting. It's not just whoever wants to sign up and sell Lutron necessarily. I mean, it's pretty rigorous course taking that you have to buy into if you want to become a Lutron professional. No doubt. I mean, it's deep in education. The shading in particular is amazing.
Yeah, and we, you'll see throughout everything Lutron does, quality is at the backbone of it. Taking care of our customers, whether it's our, 24/7, tech support hotline, right, which helps you guys out. Homeowner can just pick up the phone any day of the week, any time of the day. If you're having problems with your lighting control system, and we're there for you. And when you pick up the phone and you call a professional like yourselves, we want to make sure that you guys are out there representing everything that Lutron does as well. So we take that very seriously, and I think it provides a lot of added value too to what you get when you buy into Lutron, for your home.
As we get towards the end of the interview here, we're going to hit you with a question that we ask every guest on the show, and you're going to take a turn each here. The question is, which home tech device could you not live without?
It can't be your lighting control system. You gotta dig deep here.
Can I give you two?
Yeah, absolutely. Give us two.
But you didn't say shading, but honestly, bear me out here. Working for Lutron, we get to come home with all the best gadgets, right? And whenever I come home with another dimmer for the walls, I go, all right, another dimmer. But that day I came home with some shades for the windows. We've never looked back. So I'm looking to buy a new home in the next year or two, and it's going to be real hard to go to a new home that doesn't have Lutron shades in it, because that's the one thing where you think about it, like how often do you really adjust your shades, and throughout the day. And now with JJ, you announced or you mentioned that there's some new shades being announced, which is true. We have some new battery powered wood blinds. With that, we included a new feature where it can automatically adjust the shades based on the time of the day, so that when the sun's coming around the corner about to let light into your space and fade your fabrics and glare your eyes, it'll just tilt the light up, deflect the light to the ceiling, and off you go. Like, I'm not going to get up and adjust a little manual shade to go do that. So that's my really the real answer. But being that it's a Lutron product, I'd have to go with my number two would be Logitech. Really because think about everything in my home theater setup. We have young kids. When the babysitter's over, if I was going to walk them through every different thing to get the streaming service on, they never get there. But I have a single button to press, and so you just push this button and you're watching Netflix, and that's it. So for me, that's my go-to.
And Steve?
So I'm going to cheat as well, and I am going to mention that it is the Lutron lighting. I will give you another, but the reason I bring it up, a couple years ago, I moved to London, and I left my home in the U.S. that I had tricked out with so much Lutron. I'm not sure what the next person is doing when they go in there. Everything was singing and dancing and bells going off. But when I moved to London, I moved into a new place. I'm renting, so I had to get some dimmers into the system. So I actually made my own lamp dimmers. So in the UK, we have that inline dimmer. I was actually putting a cord on both sides of that and plugging every lamp in the whole house into it, just so I had a little bit of lighting control. And that gives me cause to bring up a new product that'll be coming out about 1 month. So around June 15th, we're launching a lamp dimmer for the UK that'll go into the RA2 Select system, which will make it a little bit easier for all of our installers over here. And now I'll give you the answer that's the non-Lutron canned answer. And it's Sonos. So of all the things that I left behind in storage and the things that came with me, the Sonos, every single one of them got boxed up and shipped over to the UK. I had to buy all new power cords and everything else, but it's absolutely worth it. So I've got a small home and a Sonos in every room, and I just love the stuff. I have music on all day long. I've got my Pico next to my desk so I can pause it every time I get a call, turn it on as soon as the call is over. And it's just become the background to everything I do at home is the Sonos music.
JJ, that I think that's about 5 or 6 guests now that have said that it's
all like, yeah, it's all full circle. I mean, they mentioned lighting controls. Y'all mentioned Sonos. It's amazing that when you get manufacturers and really good product design working together in a strategic manner. I mean, in your own elements. Don't get me wrong, but whenever you really focus on what other manufacturers do really well and get them designed to work together in a really cool ecosystem, I mean, it's so impactful, you know, and that's really what Knowles and Reels is all about for the Digital Ramble, and the message that we've been talking about is, you know, there's about 5, you know, for us, we keep it simple, Fab 5 products, but man, the impact, you know, that those 5 products can have on a really cool system that you can always add to. It's not like you have to buy it all at one time. You know, it's like, hey, you know what, I can add another dimmer. You know, my resources are available to where I can, you know, expand this system into my dining room, or, you know, it's completely expandable to whatever your resources are allowing you to be, and so, or allowing you to do. So, man, guys, it's been a fabulous episode with you guys, and really appreciate Steve and Neil from Lutron coming on and sharing, you know, what you guys have been doing behind the scenes, and making us as home technology professionals even better to create these awesome experiences for homeowners, but also letting homeowners know what they can do with Lutron in their home, whether it's lighting or shades or climate control or even controlling music. It's amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything you do, and having us on, and you know, we really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and chat with you today.
Just give a quick shout out where people can find out more about Lutron in your respective regions.
Pretty easy, lutron.com, right?
Yep.
And that's if you're a homeowner, you can find all of our products there. In the UK, you know, there's an option for Europe, which you can be taken to. And if you're an installer, lutron.com/pro. You know, that's where we get started. So if you're looking to get in the game with us, it's all right there for you.
All right, fellas. At the end of every episode, we let everybody know, if you don't know, find a home tech pro.
Hey there, Ramble 4s. Welcome back to another episode of the Digital Ramble. This one is episode 78, and I'm joined as always by my co-host in Houston, JJ Cannon. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Chris, I'm doing well and super excited to be on here with you. Are we doing 78 or are we doing 79?
79. Start again.
All right. Here we go.
I tried to look at the screen, but it scrolled up too far.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, recording's on.
5, 4. You know, one cool thing about Lutron is that, you know, whenever we say wireless, hold on one second. All right, I had some noise in the background. Till next time, y'all have a fantastic week.